Running a business isn't just about talent, passion, or posting on social media. It's about leadership, structure, and protecting your brand at every level. Today, I want to have a real conversation with you about why properly vetting clients, having your systems airtight, and maintaining a high level of professionalism isn't just a suggestion, it's mandatory. And if you want to build a sustainable and respected brand, pull up a chair. We're about to have a conversation. For those of you who are new to my platform, welcome. My name is Angelia Malbrew. I'm a multi-award winning published portrait photographer, leadership branding strategist, keynote speaker, author, and the list goes on and on. But today I want to talk to you about how I help leaders, entrepreneurs, executives. I help them to elevate their brand presence, build transformational visibility, and create premium, sustainable businesses that grow with clarity, confidence, and credibility. Through my Elevated Brand Tour, if you haven't heard about it, check it out. We're headed to 12 cities over the next 12 months. My leadership development programs and the Elevated Brand Accelerator, I help leaders position themselves powerfully so that they can expand their impact and the income. So, if you're serious about protecting your brand, your leadership, and your legacy, you're in the right place. Now, let's go ahead and dive right on in. I want to break down why business alignment and clarity matters. Before growth happens, order must happen. And if you or your contracts, your invoices, your intake process, and your policies aren't airtight, success will 100% expose that, not fix it. Systems are protection and leadership. When clients see clarity, they respect you more. When they see confusion, they test you more. Clarity is kindness for you and for them. Telling people what is to be expected or telling them the grounds in which that they should be doing business with you, this isn't rigid. This is setting the tone for a premium elevated experience. I recently had a situation where I had to rethink my policies, rethink my booking process, rethink my invoices, exception policies, and all. Not to say that this was a bad person, but I realized that dealing with some people can be more challenging than others. And regardless, you should always find a way to take the high road, stay professional, and protect your brand without escalating to drama. Because sometimes people are dealing with things that you have no clue about. And so the first thing that they do when they don't have their way with you is sometimes, as adults, they may throw a temper tantrum, or, they may throw around ways to try to disparage your name, or, to diminish who you are and your legacy and everything you've built. But if you always have everything in place and you do what you're supposed to be doing and you treat people with kindness, respect has to follow. Because if you're escalating to drama, you're going to cause yourself and your business reputational damage. And sometimes it's irreparable. And I don't want that for you. So, rule of thumb, contracts, booking agreements, payment policies, professionalism from the very first message to rule out any issues, any concerns. And granted, issues will come up, issues will arise, but don't get caught into the trap of having those things out of place for you and your brand. Here's why vetting clients is so critical. Number one, not every client is your client. Just because a client has the money to pay you doesn't mean that they deserve your services or your products. And that's just the truth. Saying yes to every single opportunity that comes your way is the fastest way to burn out. And you know what else it does for you? Dilutes your brand. You don't deserve that. You have worked too hard to build this brand, your name, and your image to allow any one person to come in and ruin that for you. Vetting isn't arrogance, it's alignment. I remember back when I started to put parameters up around the people that I was booking and the people that I was taking in and allowing to book with me. I felt a little bit judgy. And I had to realize it's not judging them and it's not judging the situation they're in. It's clearly setting parameters and guidelines about what you're expecting in your brand, what you're expecting in your business, and the type of clients you want to serve. That's the whole point of having a client avatar. And if you don't have one of those, go ahead and tap in with me. I have a avatar creator that can help you to weed out all the noise and get directly to the point of talking to the people that you want to talk to. You must have an intake process, a discovery call, or at minimum an application. This helps to check and see if their needs aligns with your mission. You don't just serve clients, you steward your reputation. And when I tell you reputation is easy to destroy when you're dealing with the wrong people, I'm telling you, be mindful about the people that you are allowing to do business with you, just like you are mindful about the people that you allow to take up space in your personal life. It's the same way, and sometimes it's even more impactful for your business, because you go through things when you disassociate yourself with people on a personal level, but when it comes to your business, your name and your reputation, it can make or break you. One client with a bad review can go and spew 1,000 miles of reputational damage, because they're going to call everyone they know and they're going to amp up the entire situation. And it could be a 1+1 situation. They're going to make it a 2+10 times 7 divided by 3, carry the 1 and put that on top. And then you're going to do square on top of all of that. And then they're going to multiply all of that by 10. You don't need that, okay? And I know I just came up with some crazy concoction of a formula right there, but I'm telling you, it is not worth your reputation. Every client you take on becomes a part of your brand story. Choose wisely. I want to give you some things that you guys should look out for. Here are the red flag examples. Number 1, if you have someone immediately pushing back on your policies, that's a red flag. Number 2, emotional instability during your inquiry. If you have someone that is not, it's like dealing with people that are, lukewarm. They're not hot, they're not cold. And if you have to work too hard to get them to make a decision, that could be a problem. That could be a problem that could come right back and bite you on the butt. So make sure you're paying attention before you bring on people that are emotionally unstable and unstable. Number 3, immediate requests for exceptions, discounts, or special treatment. You shouldn't have to do anything like this, because if you are going to do business on a business level, you have to maintain your integrity, and you also have to maintain the policies that you put in place for your brand and in your business. And I hope that you guys have had a chance to get an attorney to look over all of your paperwork and everything, so that there are no loopholes that people can go through to try to get to you and everything you worked hard to build. Saying yes to every client isn't growth. It's a slow erosion of your leadership and your brand's value, and you deserve better. Now we're going to talk about how reputational damage happens and how you can prevent it. Number 1, one emotional misaligned client can create ripple effects. It goes from, the conversation to the way they do business with you to the nasty responses that they're leaving about you online. It could be a big domino effect, right? And so don't get caught up in that. Reputation travels faster than ever today, because people are on social media and people are putting things on social media, and they are doing things that are not conducive to your growth, especially if it's a bad client. Now, if it's a good client, they may tell one person, but if it's a bad client or a client that, is in outs with you about anything, that person is going to take that message, and like I said, they're going to multiply it times 10, and it's going to spread like wildfire. Okay. Number 3, your best defense is a strong offense. And what does that look like? Clear contracts, strong onboarding, consistent communication, and professionalism over emotion. Do not allow your emotions to get the best of you. Do not let them say anything that will push you over the edge. And sometimes if it's a text message, if it's an email, you have to take a step back and do not respond while you're angry, because people say things while they're angry, and it tends to cause more problem and more harm than good. So just be mindful of the way you respond when you're going through anything that is not pleasant. So here's the thing. When you protect your boundaries, you aren't being difficult. You're being diligent. And you are building a brand meant to last. Now let's talk about some practical steps to protect your brand. Number one, signed agreements first. No payment, no work. Get all your paperwork signed from the very beginning. Sometimes you have to get that on the call before they get off the call, because you want to make sure that people understand your policy before you get started doing anything, before you take a dime of their money, because you don't want that to be a headache to come back and bite you in the butt later. Nothing begins until paperwork is completed. This is a standard in premium businesses. Number two, a multi-step policy communication. Policy should be shared in the invoice, in the contract, and the welcome materials. So if you don't have all of those things strategically placed so that they can go out on time, get to the clients on time, and sometimes we all know that people do not read, okay? However, what you may want to start implementing is a policy where you have someone, or even if it's a pre-recorded message, you can use a pre-recorded message now, as long as you state who you are, the business that you have. You literally can have a pre-recorded message that you can send the clients over to before you do business with them. I've seen it done in big businesses all the time. I remember when I worked for a bank, and I'm not going to call any names, but I worked for a bank, and there was a policy where if we were doing a certain thing for this client, they had to go listen to this message and verbally agree before we were able to continue with the call. And if they decided that they didn't want to do that, immediately the call ended, and that's just what it was. So maybe you can put in some type of, and I'm not just saying hang up on people, but what I'm saying is you want to make sure that there are clear parameters set as to what they are expecting from you, what you're expecting from them, and what goes into each. Okay? All right, and next thing I want to talk about is client vetting intake forms. If you don't have an intake form that vets people and make sure that you are dealing with the right people from the right time, from the beginning to the end, you may want to go ahead and put me on pause and go get that done. You can use a 3 to 5 question survey up front, and this will save you months of headache later. I don't know what your vetting process is when you're getting on the phone, or if you're deciding to take these clients in person and do an in-person meeting with them, but make sure you have 3 to 5 questions up front that can save you months of headache later. Also, what does your professional onboarding system look like? Do you have clear welcome emails, prep guides, and session outlines? For me and my photography business, we typically don't work on the weekend. So if you book a session with us on Friday, you will get all of your information, depending on what time it is on Friday, or if it's after hours, you get it the very next business day, based on if it is a situation where we have all of the information we need from you. So if it's a situation where we need to gather more information from you, obviously you get that by the end of the next business day. However, everything that we have in place is in place for a reason. So just think about that. Number 4, professional onboarding systems. Clear welcome emails, prep guides, and details. These details will help make a huge difference. Make sure you have the outline to everything so that there is no question about what anybody should be doing. And number 5, know when to walk away. Sometimes you have to protect your brand before protecting temporary income. Okay? You cannot build a multi-dollar brand. You cannot build a multi-million-dollar brand if you are entertaining misalignment at a $1,000 level. You can take that to the bank because I coined it. It's mine. Okay? In closing, let me go ahead and give you this. Building a business isn't about how much you can earn. It's about how well you can protect what you're building. Growth doesn't eliminate problems. It magnifies whatever systems or lack of systems you have in place. Protect your peace, protect your leadership, protect your legacy. Stay elevated, stay clear, and committed to your highest standards. Your brand deserves it. And I'll see you guys on the next one. Bye. Oh, let me tell you one more thing. If this message resonated with you, comment below or share your biggest leadership lesson about protecting your brand. And if you're ready to elevate your brand, presence, and your leadership, the Elevate Your Leadership Tour is officially underway. And today at 6 p.m. Mountain Standard Time, we are officially launching the Elevated Brand Accelerator, a transformational experience designed for entrepreneurs and leaders who are ready to rise. You can also join Elevate You if you're just starting your journey into premium branding leadership. All the links are below if you want to schedule a consultation. I'm here to talk. Let's elevate together.